Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we got some mailbag questions from Raider Nation. These questions are from August 1st, so just please keep that in mind. I'm just always going to be transparent with y'all. We got after it on Raiders Friday Happy Hour, and we had a lot of fun, and some of y'all might be able to tell. We had some beers during Friday Happy Hour, but you know what? If you miss Friday Happy Hour, you can always tune in. It might surprise you. It's on Friday. Today's show is presented by Panda Supps, and if you want to save on some of the best workout supplements on the market, use code Raiders for 20% off at pandasupps.com. Every single question, every single super chat that you see on today's program is from our loyal subscribers over on the Raiders Report. Bamondi! What's going on, my man? We need to extend Jakobi ASAP. 16 to 19 million a year is fair, in my opinion. I'll say this. First off, you're a legend. Don't ever apologize. I can't wait for the season to start. Bamondi, people are going to know the name. I guarantee you. In terms of Jakobi, I'm thinking about 18 million per year is what I've been saying for the extension. 3 years, $54 million on top of the 1 year that he has. So essentially, it's looking like 4 for $69. It comes out to him being, it's like basically like the 25th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL is the contract projection that I put forward. But I think that you do this deal with Jakobi to show everybody on that team we have a commitment to excellence, and we're going to honor the players that show up and do the right things, which is really important after what happened with Christian Wilkins. Let's go to Shipwreck Rick. What up, man? Would you be willing to give up Jakobi to block the Chiefs or the Chargers from getting Scary Terry? I don't want to give up Jakobi to block the Chiefs. Like, Jakobi's a good enough player where you just don't give him up, right, to block. Do I think Terry McLaurin is a better player than Jakobi Meyers? Yes, I do. Do I think Jakobi Meyers, though, at $18 million compared to Terry McLaurin at $30 million, when you look at how they would fit in this offense, Jakobi's a better run blocker. Jakobi's going to do a lot of the, the grit and some of the stuff that's not going to get as much of attention that maybe McLaurin would do. Jakobi is slightly younger, but overall, I'm not worried about what the Chiefs and the Chargers are going to do. At the end of the day, you got to try to make your team better. And just giving up Jakobi Meyers doesn't make you better. My guy, Navman, what's up, brother? I see Jakobi 2-year, $42 million, half of that guaranteed. Ah, man, I don't disagree with your contract projection. My original projection that I did was 2 years, $40 million, which essentially put Jakobi with the deal that he has right now. It's about like 3 years, 54, 55 is kind of what my initial projection was. The only reason why I think that they're going to give him a 3-year extension on top of the 1 year that they did is because they just did it with Kolton Miller. And Miller's deal was 3 years, 66 with $42.5 million guaranteed, and now he's basically tied to the Raiders for 4 years. The way that I look at the Kolton Miller deal, which is why I'm just bringing it up because I think it's how they'll do it with Jakobi, is Pete Carroll got 3 years, 4th-year option. Kolton Miller definitely has 3 years on that deal because, again, $42.5 million tells me that 2 of those years are fully guaranteed. But Miller, 3 years essentially, 4th-year option. Jakobi Meyers, I would imagine they gave him a 3-year deal, 3 years, 4th-year option. I think you guys are following what I'm putting down. Seriously, y'all, appreciate each and every one of y'all for always pulling up here to the Raiders Report. And if you find yourself looking for Raiders content in the offseason, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on those notifications because anytime the Raiders do something, I'm going to make a video about it. If the Raiders extend Jakobi Meyers, I'm going to talk about it. We've been getting a lot of crazy questions on our live show today about Micah Parsons, Terry McLaurin. If any of those deals end up going down, we're going to make a video about it. I don't want you to miss it, so hit that subscribe button. Let's go to my dude, Malachi B. Does JPJ have a chance to get center back? Sure. I would say right now, and this is, again, I'm filming this video on Friday. I got a text message right after Raiders training camp practice on August 1st because I messaged them. I'm like, what the hell are the Raiders doing? Because I saw JPJ was taking snaps at right guard with the second team, and I was freaking out. I'm like, what on earth is this organization doing? We are way too smart. We've done way too many good things to make JPJ a backup. He's He's arguably the best offensive line we have on our team. The text message that I got was basically like, bro, calm down. I already know you're going to freak out. I think the Raiders, what they're trying to figure out is Jordan Meredith at center. Who works well with Jordan Meredith? Dylan Parham, Alex Kappa. It's not we don't think JPJ's the guy. It's more we're trying to figure out what we have with that trio because we already know what we have with JPJ. I hope that that's true because I'm telling you this. For an organization that I have sat up here and I have preached, they're doing the smart things. The dumbest thing you could possibly do is not putting JPJ in your starting offensive line. I will lose my mind if that ends up happening. Let's go to Callie Liv. What up, Callie? If the Raiders extend Jakobi Meyers, what will it cost? I'm going to go with, again, 3-year deal, 3-year extension, $54 million. So that deal, again, 4 for $69. If you give him somewhere around $17, $18 million per year, he's going to be around the 25th highest paid wide receiver. And that's just the value that I think Jakobi is. Do I think he's the number one? No, I do not. But if you make him the 20th, 25th, somewhere in that range, highest paid receiver now, next year he's probably going to be like 25 to 30. The year after that, he's going to be beyond that. And even if Jakobi's not as good now as, or even if he's not as good then as what he is now, he's still going to be worth the money. And for the mindset that that guy brings to the table every single day, for the Raiders, an organization that's trying to build things the right way, you need guys like that. So let me know, true or false? Oh, I like this one. Jakobi Meyers is a top 25 wide receiver. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. Y'all are about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer. I'm going to go with true. And I'm saying this because Jakobi Meyers might not be a top 25 wide receiver on all 32 NFL teams, but he's a top 25 receiver on the Raiders. And I say that because of the fit. He's a good blocker. That fits with what we do. He's a great route runner. That fits with having a quarterback like Geno Smith. Great hands. For Geno, how accurate he is, all of those things are reasons why I think he's a top 25 receiver on the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go to see Gabe go. I think Justin Simmons is a better option for the money compared to Parsons. I don't really know. I mean, this is like you saying, we're comparing a Lamborghini to a Porsche. Both are great, but one costs way more than the other. Like Micah Parsons on a per-year deal is probably going to be like $42 million per year. Highest paid non-NFL quarterback. Like, that's what Parsons is going to be. Where Justin Simmons, on the other hand, I would imagine he's probably like 8, 9, maybe $10 million per year. So do I think spending that money makes more sense? I love Justin Simmons, okay? But in the NFL, if you told me right now, if the Raiders said, hey, we have the money to do it, and Micah's agent is willing to work with the Raiders, as much as I love Justin Simmons, much as I love him, Micah Parsons like 26, 27 years old. Him and Max Crosby are honestly great friends. And you want to take down Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, Max Crosby on one side, Micah Parsons on the other, Malcolm Kuntz as well. I just don't know what offensive coordinators would do. Because Micah and Max, one of those guys is going to get one-on-ones. That's a lot of sacks for the silver and black. What up, Phillip? Can we go get Micah? Him and Max would be elite. We need help with no more Wilkins. What are the chances? I'll be transparent, and I said this earlier on the show. I would say there is, I don't want to say a 0% chance because the last time I said that, the Raiders traded for Devontae Adams. I think there's a 1% chance, and I'll say I think it's just really low. Not because of Micah. Not even because of the Raiders have the money to do it. It's the agent. And the agent of Micah Parsons is the same agent as Christian Wilkins. And you got to think how an agent thinks. The Raiders right now are trying to avoid $35.2 million. That takes a large lump sum of money away from this agent. So let's say the agent's making 5%. Maybe he's making 2%. Whatever it is. That guy is going to feel a certain type of way against the Raiders right now, and I'll be transparent. The relationship between Wilkins and his team with the Raiders, it's not good. It's really bad. So because of that, I do not think that this deal is going to end up getting done. But I would say the only way that it does end up getting done is if the Raiders massively overpay compared to everybody else. And as much as I want Micah Parsons, I would say for, let's say, a normal NFL team, Shugs gave his top 5 earlier on our live show, and I said earlier, I think it's like 42, 43. If I told you the Raiders have to get closer, I think the Raiders, for them to get him, they would have to get closer to $45, $46 million per year. To pay that much money to an edge when you're also paying Max Crosby, I think it's just really going to limit your overall ability to build, and the Raiders just believe in their ability to build already in the draft. So, today's show presented by Panda Supps. Make sure that you guys use code Raiders. You're going to get 20% off at pandasupps.com. They do have a brand new product that I want to be able to tell you about. It's called First Blood, and this is a pre-workout. Essentially, with their new pre-workout, I'll always caution people, and I'll say this. I love their pre-workout, but it is very, very strong. If you are a little bit sensitive to caffeine, you might only want to take half a scoop, maybe a quarter of a scoop. But what I love about Panda Supps, and what I love about the guy that owns them, owned and operated by a Raiders fan, and he told me this. If you use code Raiders, not only are you going to get 20% off at pandasupps.com, there is a special surprise inside. I was told that the surprise inside is a $30 value. I don't know what it is, but you know what? I am a sucker for a good surprise inside. Also, if you need some protein, you can get some of their new premium whey protein isolate at pandasupps.com. Use code Raiders, and some of the brand new flavors that they have are peanut butter cookie, chocolate brownie, and also toasted honey graham. Recently, I had a Raiders Report watcher DM me on Instagram, and the one that they ended up getting was the toasted honey graham. And essentially what they told me, they were like, dude, I just went out, I bought toasted honey graham cereal, and instead of milk, I'm using the protein. It's unbelievable. I'm not going to lie, talking about it right now sounds really good. Let's go to my man Suavemente. I've never done trades, but would this be reasonable? Jack Besh in a third and a second for Scary Terry. That's not a good deal for the Raiders. And I say that because any trade that I've ever shown on this show regarding Terry McLaurin was before Terry McLaurin's team said, hey, we want to be traded. As soon as somebody goes, hey, I want to be traded, think of that as almost like it's a yard sale. And the price just goes down a little bit. I don't see Las Vegas trading Jack Besh as much as some of y'all might want them to. To me, the more realistic receiver that you would move on from is Trey Tucker. And this is a regime that drafted Besh. They drafted Dante Thornton. Yes, they've been very impressed about Trey Tucker, but at the exact same time, he's in his third year. You have a field stretcher in Dante Thornton Jr. I would say the price tag is probably like Trey Tucker, and I don't know if it's a second-round pick. It's honestly probably a day 3, maybe like a 4th rounder. Since you said no to Micah, what about McLaurin? All right, how about this? If I'm going to actually give a trade, let's do a 4th-round pick, Trey Tucker for Terry McLaurin. And that's probably a low-ball offer, but I think if you're the Raiders, you have to low-ball Washington a little bit because McLaurin has already asked for a trade. And I think teams that are, or people that are linking the Raiders to Terry McLaurin don't realize how much this team likes Dante Thornton, how much this team likes Trey Tucker, how much that this team does value the receivers that are already on this roster. Because I think people that don't follow this team, they look at the Raiders receiver group and they go, oh, well, they were looking for a number 1. They don't like Jakobi. Oh, Trey Tucker hasn't done anything. Who's Dante Thornton Jr.? Jack Besh he's not even getting first-team reps. But for all of you, I think we're a lot more confident. Us Raiders fans are a lot more confident in this receiver group. So for that reason, here's my offer to Washington. The Raiders get Terry McLaurin. We're going to have to pay him $27 to $30 million per year. I'll give you Trey Tucker and a 4th-round pick. If that's not good enough, okay, that's fine. Then you're not going to get him. And I'm totally okay with that. So would you make this deal if you were the Las Vegas Raiders, knowing that you're going to have to pay Terry McLaurin $27 to $30 million per year? I'll admit, moving on from Trey Tucker does suck a little bit. But this is a deal that I am confident in, and it's a deal that I believe in. Also, with that fourth-round pick, you got to remember, the Raiders, they're going to get an additional fourth-round comp pick. So, yes, we lose out on the fourth rounder. That's probably the higher pick, but you're still going to have a fourth rounder. I want Trey Tucker to take that next step, but I do think Terry McLaurin is a top 10 wide receiver in an offense with Geno Smith, Terry McLaurin, Jakobi Meyers, Brock Bowers, Dante Thornton, Jack Besh, Michael Mayer, and, oh yeah, Ashton Genty. That sounds like a hell of an offense to me. Let's go to Wolverine 0808. What if AOC does really good in the preseason game in practice? Do you think he starts? No. I answered this one last week, and I know people think that Pete Carroll is somebody that could do this because of what he did in the past with Russell Wilson and who's the quarterback that he took over? Matt Flynn. I think the biggest difference is Pete's relationship with Geno Smith. Like, I just don't think sometimes people realize how close certain players and coaches are, where, earlier this offseason, I would tell people don't realize how good a relationship Max Crosby and Mark Davis had. And I'll still say it. The best owner-player relationship in the National Football League that's probably not Patrick Mahomes or not a quarterback, let's say, is Max Crosby and Mark Davis. Like, they hang out. Now, I'm not saying, like, Mark goes over to Max's crib, but, like, they'll go out for food. They'll go out, they'll hang out, they'll go out, and, they're okay hanging out with each other. Smart move by Max. He knows who signs those paychecks. But at the same time, they're not going to do that to Geno, and Pete's not going to do that to Geno. I also just don't think that AOC's, even if AOC looks better than Geno, maybe it happens. But based on what I've heard from training camp, it's not close right now. And that's a good thing. I know how good Aiden is, and I know how valuable a backup quarterback is. But it's in all honesty, it's not close. Geno's clearly the better quarterback. Let's go to Angel. Shedeur to the Raiders if the Browns release him. No. And that might surprise some people. I know how much, Tom Brady and the Raiders were connected to Shedeur Sanders, but I was one of the people before the draft process started. And believe me, I got called a lot of names. And there was one name that I got called that I don't take lightly, and it begins with an R word. And unfortunately, that's a word that gets brought up when you talk about Shedeur Sanders, but that has nothing to do with it. What it really comes down to is if the Raiders were to go out and sign Shedeur, that's going to make certain people of this fan base root against Geno Smith. The Raiders traded for Geno. They already signed him to an extension. This is an organization that wants every single person watching this show right now to buy into Geno Smith, to believe into Geno Smith. And if you go out and you get Shedeur, let's be honest, if Shedeur Sanders gets released on the Cleveland Browns, a team, so you're telling me Shedeur couldn't beat out Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett, and you want to go get him? That doesn't sound like a quarterback that's better than Aiden O'Connell. That doesn't even sound like a quarterback that might be better than Cam Miller. I don't know what to expect. Will it mean more dollars and cents for this organization? Yes, no doubt about it. But Pete Carroll doesn't want this team to be split on the quarterback. They want you to buy into Geno. And if you go out and get Shedeur, you're going to split people right from the jump. And that's just not what this team wants. If you want to tune in and pull up with us during our preseason game, I hope that you do so. I'll be a lot better than I am tonight. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. Raiders, Seahawks. I'll be live for this game. I better see you there.